Funding provided by Fairway Meat and Grocery is a proud sponsor of the Iowa Girls State Softball Championships. Fairway believes in supporting the places Iowans learn, work, live, and play. Congratulations to all the schools and student athletes in this year's games. By Musco Lighting, the sports lighting specialists, providing lighting systems for you, your project, and your community. Beautiful day in Fort Dodge, Iowa. Art in public places. It can be anywhere, including a silo, and there can also be grace and all sorts of wonderful things that happen on a softball complex at Rogers Sports Complex on the north side of Fort Dodge. It is Championship Friday. We have 3 of them, including Williamsburg and Albia in this Class 3A championship to begin our coverage on the last day of the 2020 season. Hello, everybody. I'm Paul Yeager. That's Laura Leonard. She's over there. I'm over here. We're far enough apart, but we are close enough to the action today, Laura. We have a season that back in April, if you would have told us we were going to be here today, we would have said yes. And to get a bonus weather like this, even better. This softball is going to be pretty good, too.
This is going to be a great matchup to get us started off. Albia with 7 seniors wanting to take home that title. And Williamsburg, I feel like they have a little bit of swagger coming into this title game after they knocked off the defending state champ.
3 times Assumption had been the champion. 3 times no more. Williamsburg got it done here in their 3rd trip to state. Jill Hollab, she holds a whole lot of offensive records for the school. 5 this year, home runs in a shortened season. In the circle, Laura, it's Peyton Driscoll.
Very impressed with what Driscoll has done in the circle, and very calm and cool and collected for a freshman in a pressure situation.
Lady Albia, the Lady Dees from Albia, they are no stranger to the title game. This, or state, as a matter of fact, their 4th straight appearance. Jenna Lawrence, Alex Beard, they've been here for the last 4 years as part of that duo. Lawrence holds all the pitching records. Beard holds all the batting records. A great combo.
Great combo, and what a better way for those players and the other seniors on this team to go out with that state title and that state trophy.
We are lined up. Let's introduce both the starters and non-starters with our public address announcer, Mr. Tim Fitzpatrick.
And softball fans, welcome to Rogers Sports Complex in this Class 3A championship game between the visiting team, the Williamsburg Raiders, and the home team, the Albia Lady Dees. Let's meet the non-starters and assistant coaches. First of all, for the visitors from Williamsburg. Number 2, Alexis Martinez. Number 4, Riley Metz. Number 7, Bailey Van Azen. Number 20, Jenna Thurm. Number 22, Jaden Kennebeck. Your assistant coaches, Jacob Hullab, Tanner Bloom, Sadie Ritchie, and Mackenzie O'Neill. And now, here's your starters for the Williamsburg Raiders. Leading off and playing second base, number 11, Aubry Walters. Batting second at shortstop, number 3, Charlie Gagushis. Batting third and doing the catching, number 10, Carly Campbell. Cleanup here for the Raiders at third base, number 21, Jill Hollab. Batting fifth at first base, number 42, Elle Ridgway. Batting sixth and doing the pitching, number 16, Peyton Driscoll. Batting seventh, the designated player, number 27, Megan Lamperick. Batting eighth in left field, number 12, Olivia Stratton. And batting in the ninth position, the right fielder, number 1, Charlotte Wheatchin. Your flex player playing in center field, number 13, Shannon Finn. Head coach for the Williamsburg Raiders, Adam Birdie. And now here are your non-starters and assistant coaches for the home team from Albia. Number 1, Megan Jones. Number 5, Lexi Jones. Number 11, Sydney Hoskins. Number 23, Aaliyah Myers. Number 25, Allie Major. Number 35, Ashley Berry. And number 40, Addie Halstead. Your assistant coaches, Tori Mueller and Jim Cagle. And now, here are your starters. For the Albia Lady Dees, leading off and playing second base, number 21, Abby Griffin. Batting second at first base, number 10, Mckenna Ross. Batting third and doing the catching, number 13, Alex Beard. Cleanup hitter for the Lady Dees and doing the pitching, number 24, Jenna Lawrence. Batting fifth at shortstop, number 14, Lauren Bayer. Batting sixth in center field, number 43, Danica Workman. Batting seventh in right field, number 12, Abby Martin. Batting eighth, the designated player, number 42, McKenna Jones. Batting ninth in left field, number 8, Ellie Spurgeon. And your flex player at third base, number 77, Jade Bullen. Co-head coaches for the Albia Lady Dees, Darren Hill, Jenny Dorpinghouse. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the home plate area as I introduce our umpiring crew for this state championship game, as assigned by the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. At first base, Jeff Osborne. At third base, Shannon Buck McWhirter. And calling the balls and strikes, Travis Cheezick. All right, who's ready for state championship softball?
I know we are ready, and here is who Albia will send out to the field. Spurgeon in left, Danica Workman in center, and Abigail Martin in right. On the infield, Jade Boland, Lauren Bayer, Abby Griffin, and McKenna Ross around the horn. And in the middle, catching will be Alex Beard, and Jenna Lawrence will be throwing to her. Jenna Lawrence, a pitcher who is no stranger to Fort Dodge, Laura.
No, I mean, she's a 5-year starter, has been up here, 4th straight tournament appearance, and she knows what to do when she gets that ball in the circle.
I always like to look at what opponents are batting. A .41 with an ERA under 1, and that's common in a championship game. And you got to find a way to get a hit. You say we get hits all year. Well, this is the lineup that Williamsburg is going to bring in this contest, and it is a team that is 25-4 on the season, and they'll start with Walters, Gagushis, Campbell, Holub, Ridgway, Driscoll, Lamperic, Stratton, and Weegin. Look in the middle there. Campbell, Holub, Ridgway is a tough 3-4-5.
That's a tough out. That's the meat of their order, and they need to produce. Taking a look at the keys for Williamsburg, they need to contribute 1 through 9, top to bottom, have everybody locked in when they get into the batter's box, and play with no fear. Just relax, go out and have fun, enjoy this game, enjoy the moment.
You've done the hard part. You've gotten your way to state.
And then for Albia, they need to have efficient pitching. We talked a little bit about that. Hit the spots, be around the plate, make them hit your pitch, and then string hits together. Get that rally going. You get runners on, keep that lineup moving, string the hits together to produce the runs.
Aubry Walters to lead off for Williamsburg. She's a slapper, first pitch strike at 2:39 p.m. on this July the 31st, 2020.
They've adjusted the infield for the slapper. They bring the second baseman in, and you can see right there in the picture how second base Griffin is just really charging hard. They're trying to cut down all the angles that they can with the slapper up there at the plate.
The 0-2 from Lawrence is off the plate. It'll be 1-2. Those slappers, Laura, it's a big part of softball. We'll see many teams try it today, many batters. It can be really effective when done correctly.
Well, if you handle the bat, you have a good discipline of the plate, understand what you need to do in plate coverage, and that time, Lawrence was just tougher in the circle with a ball that had a lot of movement. See, that ball moves away from Walters as she's trying to run up on it and took a full swing.
Normally you would tell that batter, keep your feet set, but a slapper is the complete opposite. Charlie Gagusha swings and misses at the first offering from Lawrence. And there's a look at the .356 hitter on the season, 20 RBIs. And I mentioned, Laura, stats are going to look a lot different this year.
Ball.
That pitch is out for a ball just because of the shortened 20. Really, Williamsburg has some of the most games of any team here at state with 29 coming into today.
Yeah, they shortened down the season, obviously, and tell you what, I would have to say the majority of the people here, the players, especially and the coaches, are just happy to be playing. Whether it was 10 games or whether it was 30 games, they're happy to be on the field competing for a state title.
Playing in that bright sunshine of this Friday afternoon. The 1-2 from Lawrence is off the plate. He'll even it up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. These two teams were actually supposed to play at the end of the regular season, but on the 2-2, popped up, drifting back now into shallow left field, making the catch, then going to the ground is Lauren Bayer. Out is recorded, Gagusha's gone.
Well, you can see that Boland is calling it, to kind of trying to direct traffic. Spurgeon coming in, Bayer, they collide, but she hangs on for the second out.
And that was against the wind. The wind is blowing in mostly from straightaway center, so that really did kind of blow that ball just a little bit more to the line. Carly Campbell to bat for Williamsburg. That first pitch is upstairs. These two teams were to play, but both sides said, you know what, let's just not. The abundance of caution, that's the phrase you've heard a lot of. You'll hear us say it today. They just said, let's not do it.
And it was not because there were any positive tests. There was no any inkling that there was any kind of the virus. They just decided, you know what, we just need to keep separate. We could end up meeting at the state tournament, and let's just go ahead and prepare that way, hoping that they would get there, and they were able to get that matchup.
The 1-1 is fouled back into the net. I think they may have thought that this would have been a semifinal matchup. Albia 1, Assumption 2. Assumption did win in the third place game, 4-1. That one is fouled away. Scratch that on the seeding there. Assumption was the 2 seed, yeah, Albia the 1 seed, and Williamsburg was the 3 seed coming into the tournament.
Well, Lawrence has a really nice off speed, and we just saw it there, getting the hitters out on the front foot. You have to try to make that adjustment, see if you can pick it up coming out of her hand.
Campbell gets enough of it to stay alive. Lawrence gets the sign, winds, and fires. That spinner is knocked foul again, same spot.
Campbell doing a great job of getting that bat out there, covering the plate, covering that outside corner, spoiling that pitch. And early on, Lawrence moving the ball around, showing these hitters a lot of different things.
The 1-2 again, high. Trying to get her to chase, but not on that pitch.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
You can see that Beard and Lawrence worked so well together. And Lawrence she shook her off, didn't like the pitch that she called initially, and they worked together. They know what each other want to do, and that is what makes a really good battery, and that's what makes this team so tough.
We'll actually have a couple of cases today, Laura, where the catcher is calling the pitches. We'll see it in Northland. We'll see it here. That is not the commonplace now. Coaches like to know what's being thrown.
Well, they let Beard handle that. She understands the game. She knows what each hitter's doing, and I always think good catchers, and especially this combination, they've been working together for so long, they take a look to see where the hitter's standing in the box, maybe where their hands are on the bat, take a quick peek and see, and then make that call.
The 3-2, called third strike. Campbell out, Lawrence 2 Ks on the inning. And Williamsburg's retired in order.
For Albia, Abby Griffin will start things off. Mckenna Ross on deck. Alex Beard in the hole.
There's a look at Janny Dorpinghouse. And we have a visitor. That is the governor of Iowa. Kim Reynolds has made it to the park just after first pitch. And former softball player herself, and Jean Berger, the executive director of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, said, you got to ask her about, imagine getting that one at a press conference. Governor, so it was the regional final, and winning run was at second. How'd that pitch go? You know, I don't think that's a question I'm going to ask.
You know, though, I think all good athletes would welcome that question and would just go on, and it probably would extend the press conference another, what, 10, 15 minutes, I suppose, as long as they wanted to talk about their accolades on the softball diamond.
Well, and this is the defense that she'll be watching, the Williamsburg Raiders. Weegen, Finn, and Stratton left to right. Holub at third, Gegushis at short, Walters and Ridgway. Carly Campbell behind the plate, and Peyton Driscoll, the freshman, in the circle. She's 16-3 on the season. She struck out 185. Opponents are batting a little over 100, but not much more in her ERA. Griffin, Ross, Beard, Lawrence, Baer, Workman, Martin, Jones, and Spurgeon is your lineup for the Lady Dees. You forget certain parts of this game, Laura, that sometimes they're actually waiting on us. That means I have to actually talk faster, which is not something that is a problem. First pitch to Abby Griffin is a ball. Griffin, Ross, and Beard here in the first.
You're going to see a few different pitches from Driscoll. She's got a fastball, a rise, a curve, a change, mixes in an occasional drop ball, but really likes to go to that change and use the rise and then to set up the change. And both of those seem to be her favorite pitch, is what she told us, that she will go to those quite a bit.
2 balls on strike.
I'm really impressed with her in talking to her a couple of nights ago. The command of the game that she has at that age. And I'm not taking away from any other player, but the way she talked about certain things, it was, to me, next level.
Well, there are certain players out there that just, they get the game, they understand it, they study the game, they work hard to understand what they need to do in certain situations.
Leadoff walk to Abby Griffin. We have a first base runner of the game here in the bottom of the first. That'll bring up Mckenna Ross, the senior, playing first today.
Ross can handle the bat. She can hit for power, but she can also bunt. And I think maybe in this situation, you might see her lay one down.
First bunt offering is popped up in the air towards Ella Ridgway, and she's just not quite able to get there in time. Not enough pop up, and that's like the batter's worst nightmare, coach's worst nightmare, when you call for the bunt and it goes straight up.
Pop straight up, but you take a look, that Ridgway is playing back behind the bag. So normally in a bunt situation, you cheat in at the corners, and she's playing back. So had to cover a lot of ground to try to get to that pop-up.
And that pitch is off the plate, but enough of it on the outside corner to be a called strike. It's an 0-2 count. So let's see how much confidence Coach Hill has in Ross. She'll swing at it and foul it out of play to the right side. There's your look from home. And now there's the look from center field. The 0-2 is strike three, throw down to second. The old strike him out, throw him out, double play. Ross on strikes, Griffin on the tag. Let's look at it again.
You can see the jump there, and the throw gets there. Almost lost control of that ball, but a great job to hang on to that and make the tag.
Gagushis with the make it look easy play. And there's 2 out for Alex Beard. Probably the best scenario, if you're Williamsburg, you can hope for. Bases empty for .382 hitter with 16 RBIs and 4 home runs.
We know that Beard can really hit it. And you're right, to have the bases cleared with her coming up this early in a ball game kind of helps you relax and kind of shake off all those nerves that you might have coming into a ball game.
Comebacker to Driscoll, throw across to Ridgway. And Albia gets the leadoff runner, but can't do anything more as Albia out 1-2-3.
Played one complete, no score. Jill Hollop will start things off for Williamsburg. L. Ridgway on deck, Peyton Driscoll in the hole. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the stands behind home plate. Please welcome Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds to the 2020 State Softball Tournament. Governor Reynolds allowed the IGHSAU to offer summer softball and help provide our schools the necessary guidance for a safe and successful season. Please join the IGHSAU in thanking Governor Reynolds for her leadership and support of the 2020 softball season during this historic time. Thank you, Governor Reynolds, for your support of the Iowa girl.
Laura, a couple of times this spring, I know I was, like many, thinking, I mean, you were already covering some softball games in the college area, and then the season just ends after basketball. We last saw you, and we had no idea we were going to have any of this. And to see it this week conclude both softball and baseball, it's other states are looking at us going, okay, maybe it can be done.
I agree, and I think that, as I said before, all these people here in the stands, especially all the players and coaches, are just so thankful that they've had the opportunity to be able, and all the seniors, to be able to have that chance to get out and play one more time before they head off to college. And I think you're right, it kind of put all the eyes on the state of Iowa to see if it could be done. And I think everybody, the union has done a great job, the state of Iowa has done a great job, all the teams have done a really nice job of following protocol and keeping themselves safe.
First pitch strike, the next one to Hollop is grounded towards second. Fielding on the big hop is Griffin, and Hollop is out 4-3 for the first out of the inning. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the protocol and precautions done here at Harlan Rogers, but you mentioned the opportunity to get a chance to play. There are senior things that seniors miss this year in person that they would normally see. The first pitch to Ridgway is a ball high. Like the senior prom. Albia had their senior prom rescheduled for July, mid-July, and the seniors initially were gonna go, and then they said, no, we're not gonna go. Limit their circle, shrunk it down, and had their own promenade and had their own activities that night that the others were having the senior prom there at Albia.
And I think that's an experienced group of players and understanding what it means to them and to this team. And they made a good decision to say, hey, you know what, we're not gonna go to prom. They talked to some of the younger players on the team, the juniors, and said, you know what, let's really rethink this and talk about it. And they made the decision to have their own situation and function at home, and they played games and they were together as a team. And then I believe, as you said, they had a little party promenade for them so they could get their prom dresses on. Yep. And show off a little bit in those prom dresses and see what they look like when they're all dressed up and not with dirt and on their sliding pads and all that.
Well, I did ask Coach Dorpinghouse, I go, so did they wear the dresses then to the diamond? And she goes, yes, they did. I'm like, what? for their promenade. Ground ball by Ridgway is fielded by Bear across to a stretching Ross for the out. 2 away here in the second.
We've seen 2 really good defensive plays so far here in this inning. We saw Griffin make a play look really easy. It was a difficult play over there at second base. She made it look easy to get the first out, and now we see Bear make a really nice play, charging that ball and making the strong throw.
Coach says she's got a quick release on the ball, and she showed it there. Popped up first pitch to Peyton Driscoll on the infield, coming over, pitcher on pitcher. Jenna Lawrence makes the catch right at the line, and Williamsburg goes 1-2-3 in their half of the second. As we mentioned, that this complex had signs posted all over as you made your way to see softball. You had guidelines and hand washing, then in the dugout, disinfectant wipes, and then there were spots in the bleachers that were no seating and yes seating, and there were tickets in certain spots, and you see some schools were a little better at it than others, and even in the concession line. And as players were making their transition from one spot to the other, you did see masks on many of these teams and fans. But we did have that season that started 3 weeks late. It was a shortened season. 2 schools chose not to play, but 335 did. 26 teams were impacted by COVID-19. 11 of those ended their seasons early. We had no teams with confirmed cases this week. And I frankly, Laura, there's masks in some of the stands. You don't see them all. These are circles that happen. You and I, when we would talk, media members when we talk, I know when I've covered games this summer, I said, I'm not going to be the one if I have something to bring it on. That is not for me, but some of these parents and grandparents, they've had to limit who can come to the games.
Yeah, and I think it's just, you know, making sure everybody's smart, doing the right thing, doing what they're supposed to do, following all those guidelines that are laid out here at the complex. And we've come to know that things you need to do to make sure to prevent the spread, and I think everybody's trying their best. And so far these teams, I think, have done a really nice job of limiting themselves as far as contact goes with others outside, staying within their circle, and that's I think why we saw very few teams have to end their season.
Again, Jean Berger, the executive director, she had told all of these schools at the beginning of the year, keep your circle small. Tighten your circle that's available to your team. And there's some moments it took a little bit of getting used to, as the pitch to Jenna Lawrence is fouled off into the net behind us. There might be some parents initially who were like dropping something off at the dugout. You just can't do that now. And there is extra space if some of these teams do have more players in the dugout. They are outside. You've got capacity limits. The umpires, they're not handling foul balls now. It's the defensive team.
You know, the funny thing is you know, been up here watching games and balls go flying out of the field of play, and normally you see half a dozen kids run after them to go get that ball, and all of a sudden you see them start and then stop, and they go, oh no, we can't go touch that, and you have to let it sit there and wait for the defensive designated person, to the one that sanitizes the balls and handles them, come out and get it, bring it back to the dugout, get it all cleaned up, get it ready for the field of play again.
The 2-2 to Lawrence is popped up right side, going to be close to getting into the stands, and makes it into the second row. Out of play. So now they have to scatter. What are you doing? I don't know. What are you going to do with it? No, I don't want it.
I know, nobody knows what to do with them now.
And so one of the players from the Williamsburg team is going to have to go up and get that.
And I think you may be able to see her in the background run up into the stands and go get that ball.
Off speed is pulled foul on that too, into the stands, or into the standing area. There you can look at those those are the ball bags, fat bags that those players have there. Some of them are outside of the dugout. We're in the bottom of the second, Williamsburg and Albia.
Ball.
The 2-2 pitch to Jenna Lawrence is high, so the count goes full on the number 4 hitter for the Lady Dees.
So far in the tournament, Driscoll has given up 5 runs, 8 hits, 16 strikeouts so far. Adds 1 right there. And she's given up a couple of home runs, but been able to come back. And look at that pitch, just work away from Lawrence. That was a great pitch. Started down about knees and then worked up and away from the right-handed hitter.
Ball.
Same pitch, this not same result to Lauren Bayer. 302 hitter on the season coming into the tournament. That pitch is a strike.
Both these pitchers in this ball game just have a really good command of the strike zone and learn early on how the game's going to be called from the home plate umpire and then adjust their game accordingly.
Pitch fouled back as Bayer just got underneath of it.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Bayer looks down at Coach Hill, co-head coach for this year. Bayer's next season, when she's a junior, she'll have just 1 coach, not 2 co-head coaches. As there's Coach Hill. He handles a lot of the strategy, maintenance, hitting the infield and the outfield. And there's a look at Janny Dorpinghouse. And she's been an assistant coach since 2003, and that is fair down the left field line for Bayer. Over to get it is Stratton, and Bayer is going to be held to a 1-out single.
That is a great piece of hitting. Bayer goes down in the zone to get it. Just loops that ball right on the correct side of the foul line.
The bunt is fouled off by Danica Workman, the center fielder in this game. She's a junior. She can bunt for hits. Got some speed, so one, you might ask for the sacrifice, but if you can turn it into a hit, that's a bonus. Here, it's the sacrifice variety. But she does get down the line in a hurry, and it moves Bayer to second.
Well, she's had a pretty good tournament so far. This time gives herself up to sacrifice that runner into second base. And you saw the good hands of Ridgway over there. She's got really good hands at first base. Helps out her fielders as Driscoll had to rush that throw a little bit, knowing that she had some speed going down the line.
First pitch to Abigail Martin is off the plate. Martin had a home run against Mount Vernon. Oh, no big deal, just the game-winning run.
Yeah, no big deal. Just your run-of-the-mill home run to win a ball game. That's got to give a hitter a lot of confidence.
Just under that one.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
And that was a tight ball game, that semifinal game. It was back and forth, and both teams would threaten, needed something like what Martin gave them in that home run to win the ball game.
Well, that wasn't until the 6th, right? That was the bottom of the 6th when that happened. That was down at, that one was on Dodger Field. And this week, in order to get games played, that pitch has popped up into the stands on 2-2. We'll do it again. In order to get time between games, to get dugouts cleaned out, fan bases cleared out, again, part of the strategy and limiting spread or really cross-contamination from one part of the state or group of fans to the other. They played games on the consolation diamonds. And Davenport Assumption had won 11 straight, which meant they hadn't played on the consolation diamonds until they had to play one of their quarterfinal games down there. They didn't know where it was.
You know, there's a lot of us that didn't know where they were. I roamed around a little bit until I figured out where everything was set up.
A walk to Martin. And the Williamsburg fans thought that caught the plate.
You know, it probably did, but I think the action of Campbell behind the plate and leaning out of the strike zone probably caught the umpire's attention, and thus ball 4.
McKenna Jones to bat. First pitch spun in there for a strike. Jones, a .255 hitter, 14 runs driven in. If your 3, 4, 5 are on when she comes up, that's where you can add up some RBIs if you can put it in play. Offers at the next one.
She tried to hold up, and I was wondering if that call was going to be made. She tried to hold up. It was up above the strike zone, but a very definitive call by the home plate umpire, Travis Chiswick.
The 0-2 back to Driscoll on the weak liner to retire. The Dees, who get 2 on, but leave them both just kind of tailing away to the left side. And Jones is out. One of the parts of our broadcast is to show you action in super slow motion. And here is Jenna Lawrence. What does she do well, Laura?
She gets great extension and great push off the rubber. You can see how she turns the hand over to get the spin. She can spin the ball, does spin it a lot. That's what gives her a lot of movement on her pitches.
And they use that rubber. That's what it's there for, to push off and get that momentum. Drag the foot. You always can tell the pitcher by looking at their shoes.
You know, I don't know if they still have them or not, but when you used to pitch, you used to have that extra toe that would go over the top of your shoe, and you'd lace it up and put it on there. It'd fit right on the top of the toe, little toe guard, so you wouldn't wear your shoe out after about 10 games.
We go to the third, no score between Williamsburg and Albia. Bottom 3 of the order, Lamperic, Stratton, and Weegan due up for Coach Adam Birdie and the Williamsburg Raiders. That pitch is out. Williamsburg right off of Interstate 80 between, we'll say, Grinnell and Iowa City.
Mile marker 220. Might be the outlets over there.
May have made that trip to the north side of the interstate a time or two, Laura?
Maybe once or twice.
But the town is there to the south side, and it's a community that Coach Birdie says has really supported this team this year. Off-speed changeup. What a pitch from Lawrence to get Lamperic.
It's her third strikeout so far in early part of this game. Paints the corner, perfect position. Very hard to pull the trigger on that pitch when you think it might be outside, but she caught enough of the plate to get rung up.
The pitch to Stratton.
Ball.
Olivia Stratton, 10 RBI to go with a .262 average. As Coach Birdie said, you know, she's just gotten better as the year's gone on. And, you know, that's something I know I talked about in the regular season. Laura, we were watching players develop in real time as the year went on.
You felt like the hitters maybe had a little advantage early on, that the pitchers might still be developing as the season started. And then the pitchers kind of came along, hit their stride, and maybe have slowed down some of those hitters that got off to a really hot start. But you're right. I think on both accounts, pitching and hitting, you've seen these players play themselves into shape is basically what they've been doing.
Well, when you shut everything down in mid-March and you couldn't have team workouts, you could still do individual workouts at, say, your home. The 2-2 pitch on the way to Stratton is swung on and missed. Second strikeout of the inning, 4th for the game for Lawrence.
Lawrence is really starting to deal right now, moving the ball around up in the zone. That ball, again, a lot of spin, just takes off when it gets to the plate.
And frankly, Laura, I gotta say, the veteran squads may have been the ones that came out and succeeded because they had that experience. And I'm looking at one of them, popped up on the infield. Bayer calls and grabs and retires Williamsburg as they go down 1-2-3. Those players that knew what needed to be done when you've made it to state 4 times in a row, you know what you have to do. You know what your pace has to be. And maybe for a freshman, it's a little harder. You miss that spring development ball. You miss the early part of May. And then those great tournaments that you can be at in June, but it hasn't appeared to slow down Peyton Lawrence. I mean, super slow is maybe really what I mean.
Well, there's, again, good extension. Both of these pitchers do a great job with the extension. Look at the arm whip as well. Moves that ball around, turns the hand over. And I think there's so many good pitchers out there that we have seen this week and throughout the state, throughout the season. And there's a lot of former Iowa high school girls pitchers that are pitching coaches out there now that are teaching these young women all the different pitches and show them how to succeed.
If she can keep the change around the plate, Coach Birdie says she's going to be really tough. She's had a couple of changeups. She got a changeup in the last inning to work. Let's see if she's going to throw more of them here to the top of the lineup. Is it Spurgeon, the 9 place, and then Griffin Ross, and if anybody gets on, Beard here in the bottom of the 3rd. First pitch is a ball.
And you want to try to work ahead in the count, but you also want to try to establish the plate. You want to claim your spot on the plate, and if a hitter is crowding you or in a different spot in the box, you need to go in there and make a statement and be able to claim back your area of the plate so you can throw your pitches.
Driscoll gets the sign, throws, it's hit towards left. Coming in to catch the lazy fly ball is Olivia Stratton, and there's one away.
So far, we've got 1 hit in this ball game. Both these pitchers doing a great job. We've seen several pop-ups. These hitters now are going to have to make the adjustment to try to get on top of the ball to hit line drives on both sides.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
On these pitchers.
We saw a semifinal game the other night. Clarksville was behind Lisbon. Or no, they were tied. And everything, both sides, popping the ball up. And all of a sudden, Clarksville makes this adjustment and starts hitting line drives. And they just adjusted themselves in the box. They, in the dugout, talking to one another, how do we attack? And they were able to string together some hits and scored 4 runs and moved on to the championship game that we will see later today.
The 1-1 spins out of the zone. Lisbon has their own freshman pitcher. And Lisbon beat Newell Fonda in the opening round game, who featured an 8th grade pitcher. I have a sense in 1A to handicap that field a little bit in the next couple years. No pressure, ladies, from those two. Newell Fonda and Lisbon both feature very young teams and great teams in the making right there. And experience here can only help you down the road.
Yeah, this experience is going to go a long way for the young pitchers that have made it here, play on the big stage, play on these really nice fields, stands full of people and around the outfield. and they're going to remember what it felt like and how they played in that situation and in that time, and they're going to carry that with them to the next season.
Griffin punches it into right for the Lady Dees' second hit of the ball game, and she's on with 1 out in the bottom of the third.
Now there's a situation of making that adjustment. She went up in the zone and was able to hit it to right field. She got those hands up, tucked them back a little bit, and went the other way with that pitch.
So many times a younger player will try to pull everything. The bunt is down, fielded by Driscoll. The only play is at first to Ridgway. Down to second is Griffin.
No, you're good. That's it. I was trying to watch two things at once there.
So Ross gets the job done. Alex Beard grounded back to the pitcher back in the third. That was after a great strikeout throwout double play and the bases were empty. Little different situation. She's got a runner in scoring position with 2 out. Let's see what Driscoll does on this first pitch. Comes off the plate for a ball.
You know, sometimes you think of this situation, do you give that automatic pass to first base? But they're going to challenge her, see if they can win this battle.
Beard skies it right side, headed towards the camera well, and just out of the reach of Weegan. And also Walters covering a lot of ground. Walters will throw it in.
I looked up and I saw Walters just digging to try to get over there, and she made a great effort to get over to the fence, but couldn't make the play.
Beard trying to go the opposite way too. Takes that pitch, same spot, a little deeper. Weegan, though, makes the grab on her knees, sliding a foot short of the fence to get the out. We played 3 full, no score. Great defensive gem by Weegan here in Fort Dodge in the Class 3A State Championship. Hello, I'm Paul Yeager. This evening, for one night only, Market to Market moves to Iowa PBS World so you can watch the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Championships on Iowa PBS. So if you just want to watch Market to Market, switch over to Iowa PBS World on our .3 channel tonight at 8, or catch us online anytime at iowapbs.org.
Side the defender was fantastic, withheld the challenge, lots of strength.
Bury it with the defender right on her and Brown.
What a Lee on the volley, left foot. Dipped it up as we have a look at this. What a brilliant delivery by Wee, and Brown coming in.
This evening at 9:30 on Iowa PBS.
Williamsburg still looking for their first hit. Albia looking for a run. Both of these teams, we've seen good pitching here, Laura Leonard, so far.
It has been great pitching, and these hitters now need to make the adjustment. We're getting close to midway through this ball game. The hitters have seen the pitchers. Now you got to go up into the box, make some adjustments, put the ball into play, get the runners on.
Good to see you over there.
Good to see you over there.
Can't even bump elbows to you.
No, we can still pass notes, though.
We can.
If we lean far enough.
So far, it's just tallying good plays, and we'd have a lot of them. We've seen some great defensive gems, including that one, as Walters, here to start the fourth, takes a hit away, or Boland takes a hit away from Walters.
But I like the idea of Walters trying to mix things up, not going up there swinging at it, trying to lay one down, took a look, took a gamble and a chance at getting one down, trying to beat it out. But a good job by Boland, charging, being on her toes, able to get that fly ball, or line drive, I should say.
Charlie Gagushis. Flied out to short in her last at-bat. Williamsburg yet to get a runner on base. And Albia's only had a couple more.
Well, we knew both of these pitchers had really good stuff. We've seen it throughout the tournament. There's the first hit.
Gagushis on cue. Game's first hit for Williamsburg comes in the fourth with 1 out.
Well, yeah, you were talking about it, Paul, and doing a great job getting that ball down around the knees and extending and dumping that into left field to give Williamsburg a little bit of life and a little bit of spark.
I think coaches might rewind that at bat and watch her. That was textbook. Did you see how her hips went in? Hips came back, wrists came out, ball hit. Just textbook right there on that piece of hitting by Gagushis.
Got the front foot down, was able to get the ball in the zone and drive it. Got the big part of the bat on it. Made solid contact.
Carly Campbell down in the count 0-1. Beard looks to throw to second.
Don't want to stray too far off of second because Beard would not be afraid to throw it down there, or excuse me, off of first. She would not be afraid to try to pick you off.
Carly Campbell swings and misses. And she's down 1-2. Carly Campbell, no stranger to the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union administration. She is on the Student Advisory Council, and she just wrapped up her second year of her 2-year term. And that's been something just done in the last couple of years, and it gives the voice of the student athlete to the union from around the state. She'll foul it into the net to keep it going. And again, just an opportunity to say, this is what's going on in my school. And it's also an opportunity for those girls to see what goes on at the administrative level and see what this decision is not all about this. It's about having cowboy hats in the dugout.
Yeah, and, you know, an opportunity for leadership as well.
Gagushis going on the pitch, and it's the foul ball by Campbell. So we'll do it all again.
I think you got to check Beard, and that's why Travis Chizik is out there wiping off the plate, because that ball came back and got Beard in the shoulder, and you could hear him say, "You all right?" And of course she's going to say, "Yeah, I'm all right. I'm not coming out of this ball game."
Not a state title game where we're locked in at zeros. Popped up infield, drifting, now coming over is short. Wow! Bear made that play in foul territory right on the line. She tracked that thing down.
I'm not sure Boland had a look at it, but maybe heard Bayer calling her off as she moved away, and she did cover a lot of ground. That's showing some range out there at shortstop.
2 away for Jill Holub. Coach Birdie would love to see Holub find some grass for a hit and extend this inning. First pitch spun in there for a swing and a miss.
Got a little piece of it. You could hear that she ticked that ball just a little bit. Just needs to get a little more extension and try to drive that right back up the middle.
Holub, part of the spark that was the game winner. Down the right field line foul against Assumption on Wednesday. She got on board, and then it was one of 5 Assumption errors that allowed her to get to second, and then eventually she's driven home.
2 strikes.
Well, and that's the one thing. That's the great equalizer, is the errors that the defense commits and base on balls that you give up. Those are the 2 things that will come back and hurt a team, and we saw it hurt Assumption in the semifinals.
Popped up again as Beard and Lawrence, Laura, are feeling 2 different things. Another shakeoff by Lawrence in the circle on a pitch.
Well, they know they are ahead in the count. And you're right. It's catcher thinking one thing, pitcher thinking another, and I think it's whatever the pitcher is confident in, again, shakes her off, and now they agree.
Go with the rise ball, the throw down to second, not in time. Gagushis steals the base. And that could have been part of the decision there.
Gagushis got a good jump. And I think Beard hesitated just a little bit as she came up out of the crouch and got the throw down there, but it was a little too late.
So now a runner in scoring position for Holla. Base hit would likely score the game's first run. Swing and a miss, or would end the inning. The rise ball headed out of the zone on that. Looked so good at the beginning and then tails away.
We've seen this several times. Boy, that was way out of the zone. Made her go fishing after that ball. Was not even close to that pitch as it worked away off of the plate.
We talked about public art on display. Well, how about big public art that can be found along the Des Moines River? This silo was painted, and it's in Fort Dodge. It's about 2-3 miles south of where we're at along the river there, and this drone got a look at it, and it's been fun to watch this thing progress over the years here, Laura. And I got to tell you, I mean, the American farmer portrayed there and the American farm worker, just a great tribute there on both sides.
I think it's an amazing piece of work that is displayed right here in Fort Dodge. That's impressive, and obviously took a lot of time and effort to be able to do that, and what a nice tribute.
The statisticians haven't had to work too hard today. They've just left the 0 in place for a lot of the line score. 3 hits combined between these two squads, Laura. 1 for Williamsburg, who just finally left their first runner on base. 2 for Albia, who will send Jenna Lawrence, Lauren Bayer, and Danica Workman to the plate here in the bottom of the 4th.
You know, coming into the tournament and in the tournament, Albia has only given up 2 runs in tournament play. So we're talking regionals as well into the state tournament. They gave up a run to Clark in the regional finals and 1 to Mount Vernon.
Well hit ball to center, back, looking up at it, going over the wall. Jenna Lawrence, touch them all. That's a home run.
That is squaring it up and driving it to center field. That ball got a lot of the plate, and Lawrence took advantage of it. You can see it was
right
down the middle, and Lawrence saw that, able to drive it. And as we said before, Driscoll has given up a couple of home runs so far here in this state tournament, has been able to bounce back from that, not let it rattle her.
And that was into the teeth of the wind of 5 to 6 miles an hour. The flag is blowing straight in. You can see there's a little flag out there in center. The American flag kind of picks up every now and again. So Lawrence, you knew it off the bat that it had a good chance. Lauren Bayer now at the plate.
And they got that ball in from center field and got it right back to the dugout. I'm going to guess that that ball does not come back into play here in this game.
I think it had a scratch on it. I don't think a dent.
It's going on somebody's trophy case.
So Driscoll comes back 0-2 now on Bayer, who had a single back in the 2nd. Spins it up. Gets the placement she likes. Fouled back. Bayer, in her first year as a varsity player, they've kind of needed her to figure out exactly what her role is on this senior-dominated team as the off-speed pitch just takes a little area away from the strike zone, and it's a ball. Janie Dorpinghouse telling us that, you know, she's just someone that has come up clutch when we've needed her. She's only a sophomore, so she's using this as experience for the next couple of years for her and her career.
And you like to see that kind of attitude from those younger players, when, especially when a coach says, boy, she's come up clutch for us. You know, in certain situations, she doesn't get rattled. She doesn't get nervous. She's able to produce when there are runners on or make a great play in the field, and she has done that all season long for this Lady Dees team. Two balls, 2 strikes.
No out here. The pitch off the plate.
Well, she's come up big in the tournament as well, coming into this ball game, hitting .500, 3 for 6 in the quarterfinals and the semifinals combined. So she's feeling pretty comfortable at the plate here in Fort Dodge.
Hits it towards right. Weegan goes back. Can she make another catch in right field on the run? The answer is no. It was in the glove, then out. Very tough play down the line.
Boy, she really did cover a lot of ground. Very similar to the play that we saw her make at the end of the last inning. That one just went off the fingertips of the glove.
Bayer gets new life. Here in the fourth. And she'll sit down on a called third strike. Third strikeout of the game for Driscoll.
Gets that outside corner, and they ring Bayer up, but that's a good answer to the question of how is Driscoll going to respond to giving up that home run. She bears down, comes back, has to throw a fair amount of pitches, but finally gets the strikeout.
Danica Workman to bat here against Peyton Driscoll. Workman had the sacrifice at her last plate appearance. Skies it foul and out of play. Workman had 2 doubles against Creston in that opening win. That was a game Albia won 12-0 over Creston on Monday night. The top 7 for the Lady Dees all had hits.
Yeah.
And then they only scored 2 runs and won the next day.
That's softball. That's exactly what happens in softball, and a great read there by Workman. Sees the off-speed pitch coming and then decides to lay it down because she sees the corners back, knowing that she has a speed, is going to be able to beat it out if she can put it in the field of play.
We talked about Workman's speed before. She was almost to the bag by the time that ball was thrown in play. That one's inside. You can't teach or coach speed.
No, you're blessed with it. And a lot of really good players understand that and understand how to use that speed to their advantage.
The 2-2, off speed, pulled foul. Coach Hill with a kick save. Workman, a junior. Looked up at these seniors and has been along for a great ride. That pitch misses.
I think she was holding her breath on that one and was waiting for the call. You could see her just kind of nod her head and let out a big sigh of relief.
The 3-2, swung on and missed. Strike 3.
So Driscoll had to throw a lot of pitches, throw a variety of them, and she just won that challenge as that was belt high. And Workman could not catch up to it.
I don't think that was the pitch she was expecting.
No, and sometimes when you're looking for something else, maybe on the outside part of the plate, and they came in mid to inner part of the plate, catches you off guard, and you just cannot make that adjustment that quickly.
2 away for Abigail Martin. She pops it in behind home. Martin, one of those seniors that we talked about in the Open. 4th straight tournament for the Lady Dees.
You know, I asked her, I said, are there any superstitions that you guys have in the dugout, or any of the players have superstitions? And she said, all I know is my parents are superstitious because they do the same thing with my uniform, the way they lay it out for me, the way they hang it on the line, whatever it is, they do the same thing game in and game out. And she goes, I just go along with it.
By the way, your exchange right there with her that day was recorded by Mom, and they'll be watching that one back over time. On that one, catches the plate as Driscoll retires the side on her own with 3 strikeouts, but after Jenna Lawrence gives a 1-run lead to the Lady Dees.
AARP Iowa and Iowa PBS invite you to tune in to celebrate the fair.
Hey, guess what? I've got the key to the Iowa PBS archives room. And I'm gonna bust it wide open and show you almost 50 years of Iowa State Fair highlights. So plan to tune in August 10th through the 14th and relive the memories and the feel of that special State Fair excitement.
Hi, I'm Charity Nebby. Are you ready for some State Fair fun at home? Record the kids telling a joke or sketch some art with sidewalk chalk. Try your hand at butter sculpting, decorating an ugly cake, or crafting a decorative face mask. You can even show us your pet's greatest tricks or write a State Fair poem. Try one or try them all. Visit iowapbs.org/fair for details.
Back here in 2020, Albia leads 1-0. But Laura, I have a question for you. Do you remember 2017, a night in July that may have gone into the morning?
I will never forget it.
Yes. Ella Ridgway, Peyton Driscoll, and Megan Lamperick will bat here for Williamsburg. It was talked about last night by Brad and Molly during their broadcast, about a 16-inning game as they ticked away 8, 9, and then got into the 10th. A 16-inning game between EBF, Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont versus Iowa City, Regina, went 16 innings. That wasn't the last game of the night. There was another game still to play that night. As that pitch, it goes a foul ball. That's because it's off of Ridgway. We didn't start that game until 11:35, and it was Albia versus Assumption. It was late.
It was really late, and I think you'd walk around the outfield, and both teams were in separate parts of the outfield where the fans are. They were all doing whatever they needed to do to stay alert, stay awake, get their mind mentally prepared, and every time an inning would end, they go, okay, maybe this half inning, somebody's gonna score. And if I remember right, somebody would score, and then the other team would come back in the bottom of the inning and tie it back up, and we kept going extra innings. And it was so long, and it took forever. And I think people started doing things, well, maybe if I do this, that'll help them score. Maybe if I walk around the field in reverse order or counterclockwise, maybe that'll help. I mean, just all kinds of crazy things to see if we could help the two teams on the field in the ball game.
Ridgway fouls it off to stay alive in this at-bat. Lawrence and Beard were the combo then. They were freshmen that night. And I'm sorry, as the 3-2 is high. It's late for me. I can't imagine if you're 14 or 15. And that's what Janie Dorpinghouse said. She goes, it was late that night, and I had a lot of freshmen, and they had a lot of nerves.
Yeah, and that's exactly what she said. She goes, what I remember about that night is freshmen. We had all those freshmen, but they learned from that, and it was an experience that everybody's going to remember, and they talk about, and it will be talked about for a long, long time. But they know that this situation is a lot different than that one was, and they want to be able to come home with the title here today in this ball game. At least they're not having to wait until 11:39 at night to play this ball game.
They get to play the first game of the day. They lead 1-0 in search of their first state title. Both of these teams are actually in search of their first state softball championship. Driscoll 0 for 1 in this game.
And we do have a runner.
Hit softly towards right on the infield. Driscoll's out.
Looks like Riley Metz over there running for El Ridgway, and want to go back to that at bat by Ridgway. She did a really good job of holding up holding the hands, not going through the strike zone, and able to draw that walk, be able to get that first runner on, and now we have that pinch runner over there at first.
Metz, the freshman, gets a good lead and then comes back on a swing and miss by Megan Lamperick. Lamperick struck out back in the third in her first plate appearance. Hit hard to the right side, diving play, and then getting it out of her glove is Griffin. Runner moves up. It'll be 2 outs for Olivia Stratton to try to get the Raiders a run here.
Good job and good coverage to smother that ball. That was maybe ticketed for right field if it makes the right bounce, and a good job by Griffin to get that ball in her glove.
It sounded harder than it ended up down the line.
Ball.
You're kind of wondering what is in that softball I just hit, because it just died. The 1-0, swung on and missed by Stratton.
Metz getting a good jump out there at second base. So if there's a base hit, you know that Coach Adam Birdie's gonna send that runner.
Foul ball on that one, Coach Adam Birdie. And he knows how hard this senior class has worked. Stratton, a junior. Even the junior class popped up right side into the dugout. There's only about a 1.5 foot area to hit between the fence and the dugout, and they hit it right in there. So Stratton will get another chance.
Yeah, going back to this senior class of Williamsburg, when they were 8th graders, that group of players were 6 and 32 as a group, and they have turned it around.
Stratton strikes out, strands the runner. And, you know, Albia's playing in the light of the day, but they also know how to play in the dark of night. And that game, Laura, we went around and we were up on deck for this group, and it was 11:35 first pitch, and it was Assumption early, middle, and late, and that was the beginning of 3 straight Assumption championships, and that ended this year by Williamsburg. And, you know, when you're a freshman and you're at your first state championship game, it's not supposed to start at 11:40 at night.
No, it's not, but what a great experience to be able to get to that title game. And yes, they had to wait a long time. In Assumption, they were in the beginning of their powerhouse days. I mean, they're a powerhouse as is, and but to be able to play in that game, have that experience, and then be able to get back here as seniors and have the opportunity to try to win it.
Was it Mckenna? Yeah. Mckenna said, it was a late night. It was getting annoying. Was the direct quote.
It kind of was. I would have to agree with her. I mean, it was a great game that was being played before them. It was exciting, probably one of the best softball games I've witnessed. But yes, when you want to get on the big stage and you want to play your game, it does get a little annoying.
And you're getting hungry because you hadn't eaten in hours and hours, and you don't want to eat in the middle of an inning because you might have to play in 20 minutes.
Right.
And that's just the way it goes. As Jones swings and misses at that first pitch. One last thing, and then I'll put this one. They were watching a conference foe in that game. So they were watching it more than, you know, so they were living more of the emotion up and down. And that can wear on you too, Laura. You know, you discuss it in basketball. Do you come down to the arena and watch those other teams play? Do you watch a full day? Do you come and watch other teams play in softball when you're out in the heat like that? Because the emotion of a game, you can get wrapped up in it too if you know one of those teams, and that can wear on a squad.
Yeah, it certainly can, and especially with all the other factors that were in play that evening, and seeing somebody that's familiar on the field ahead of you, kind of pulling for them, I'm sure, supporting the conference, and it certainly can wear on you a little bit mentally. And going back to that last pitch, what a great pitch, and she comes right back to it again and gets the strikeout. So
Jones, watch that changeup.
And look at the way she turned her hand over to take a little off of it, but get the spin, and boy, had Jones out in front.
That one spins low. Ellie Spurgeon, flied out to left, back in the third. She bats here in the bottom of the fifth and rockets it over the shortstop into left field for a base hit. Throw back to first, not in time, but man, it was close. Whew.
You can't take your eyes off the ball. You always have to be paying attention. Great swing, great contact, and then the quick throw. Almost rounded it a little too far, able to dive back.
That's where you leave a divot out in the baseline where you had to slam on the brakes and reverse course. Top of the lineup for the Lady Dees. Griffin gets the bunt down. The only plays at first. They throw back to second. Again, ball gets away, but Spurgeon will stay. Sack bunt by Griffin, and that'll bring up Mckenna Ross. Spurgeon moves to second. That brings up first baseman Mckenna Ross. So Ross will bat, another one of those seniors. 4 seniors in this top of the lineup for the Lady Dees. Fouled back on pitch number 1 from Peyton Driscoll.
Well, this is talking point to one of our keys in this ball game, string together hits.
And that change misses.
Here's an opportunity to string together some hits and try to push across a run.
Popped up again. And now Ross is down a ball and 2 strikes.
1 more, 2 strikes.
Four hits for the Dees. Number 5 might score a run. Swung on and missed. Ross is out, and so is Albia. Strikeout number 7 for Peyton Driscoll. They leave a run in this matchup that's been a lot of good pitching.
That's kind of what we thought coming into this ball game. Both pitchers on both sides around the plate, working it inside and outside, just throwing it by hitters. Good defense backing up these pitchers, even though we haven't had a whole lot of balls in play except for this one.
Didn't stay in play very long.
And it leaves the yard, and that's where we stand right now, 1-0 off of that home run.
Jenna Lawrence with the home run, and she's, oh, by the way, struck out 6, but so has Peyton Driscoll. As we go to the top of the 6th, Williamsburg. Weegan, Walters, Gagushis. Coach Birdie had told us, he says, we do best when we score 5 or 6 runs. They just need to get 1, maybe 2 here today. They got to get some base runners on. Put a little pressure on Albia. Very little room for error in a championship game, and especially when you're up 1-0.
And this is when you really have to lock in defensively. Even though your pitcher in the circle has been throwing a gem right now, you have to be ready. You can't lose focus and expect the pitcher to get it done all on her own. Be ready in case something comes your way.
Because it could be just 1 pitch, as Lawrence proved.
Exactly. I mean, that's all it takes. And then sometimes it's one of those hits or an error or something that happens in the field to give a team some momentum.
Griffin takes the one hopper from Weegan for the first out of the 6th. Aubry Walters now 0 for 2. Her mom, Lori Walters Spratt, was a great softball player for Williamsburg back in the 80s. So that second generation of player, we'll have a whole lot of those as the day wears on, but always exciting.
Always nice to see that. We always ask the questions of these teams coming to the state tournament. Any moms or grandmothers that played the sport before you, and boy, we sure find that there are a lot of these parents and grandparents that did participate, whether it was softball or basketball.
But, and that's more of a slap past the hole. Griffin had crashed in, expecting the bunt or the slap, and a great piece of hitting by Walters as she controls this bat, Laura.
Perfectly placed and well read. Saw exactly where the defense was standing. Griffin was pulled in even with the pitcher. And all you have to do is just dump it over there, the drawn in infield, and that's what she did. She had enough bat control that she was able to place it out there where nobody was.
First pitch gets away from Beard. Down to second is Walters. And now the Williamsburg fans starting to feel a little bit of a momentum, possibly shaking, moving their way with their 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up.
I think Coach Birdie knows they're getting late in the ball game. They're not going to have many more chances, so you have to take advantage of it, and that's why they're being aggressive.
Get the bunt down. Gagushis, you could see from our angle, Laura, she didn't have her hands together on the bat. There was about a ½ inch to an inch apart. You knew that right hand was going to slide down and she was going to lay it down. She checks the card to see what she's supposed to do now.
And a lot of times the catchers will look at that, and that will determine what they're going to throw.
Same thing again. This time she swings, hits it well towards center, but it will stay in the park as Workman grabs it, and so Gagushis not able to move the runner along. And that'll be up to Carly Campbell to keep the inning going.
Hit it well, just hit it right out to Workman. Didn't have to move too far to haul that one in, but that one, when it left the bat, everybody was kind of holding their breath over on the Albia sidelines.
Campbell, the junior, her bat starting to get hot at tournament time. Is it got any mojo or magic left in it? Coach Birdie's hoping, I think there's a little bit of pixie dust still on it. Let's get a hit here. She's 0 for 2, though, in this game. The 1-0. Called strike. Our home plate umpire is Travis Cheezick. And Travis knows his way around Harlan Rogers. He used to flip burgers here and do all sorts of things at the park as part of the crew. That pitch is low.
Worked his way up to a championship assignment behind the plate. Don't know if he will, when he's done here, run back over and maybe go cook some burgers for us.
He cleans the plate, counts to 10, and makes the walk out to the circle. As Beard and Lawrence say, hey friend, how you doing? Good to see you. Hey, you know what you need to do right now? Just breathe, calm down, throw a strike, but not too good of a strike.
Yeah,
because
Beard,
Campbell might crush it.
And I think that's the smart thing to do by Beard. Go out in this moment and calm down her pitcher.
Spun in, hit up high in the air towards right, sailing foul and out of the reach of Abby Martin. She made a good effort, but needed another couple of feet to get there.
Seen both teams, right fielders, as Martin kind of checks everything, make sure that no bump on the noggin, because she did kind of dive for that, hit hard on the ground. But we've seen both right fielders really make some nice efforts over there in foul ground.
The 2-2. Strike 3. Campbell looks to the sky, leaves the runner. Williamsburg strands one on a pitch that Lawrence just froze her on. Oh, man, bottom of the 6th. Albia looks for insurance after this.
Okra is a staple of Southern cuisine, used in stews, barbecues, and sometimes it's the star of the show. I'm Charity Nebbe. On the next Iowa Ingredient, we'll visit an Iowa vegetable farm to see how okra is grown. Then Chef Lynn Pritchard will stop by the kitchen to share a few delicious recipes using okra. All that and more on the next Iowa Ingredient.
Saturday morning at 11:30 on Iowa PBS.
Coming up on a special edition of Iowa Press, we dive into the legacy of the Americans with Disabilities Act. 30 years after passage, what does the ADA mean today? And what policies may impact the disability community as they look to the future? We'll discuss this on this special edition of Iowa Press.
Sunday at noon on Iowa PBS.
Well, the Albia fans are looking at their hands as they sit on them. They're getting a little nervous. So are the Williamsburg fans. We're getting late. Bottom of the 6th. This could be Albia's last at-bat. They're looking for a little insurance so they don't have to bat in the 7th. First pitch is a strike from Driscoll to Alex Beard.
Great pitch, started off with an off-speed pitch, knowing that Beard going up to the plate, probably going to be aggressive. And they throw her something a little bit off-speed to get her out on that front foot and make her start thinking a little bit at the plate.
Boy, that changeup has been both good and bad for Driscoll. It's been close. As Coach Hill talks to his bench as he's down at 3rd. That is hit in the air, but foul and up against the fence for Weejan. Beard, Lawrence, and Bayer. One of the things Albia likes to do, Laura, is string together some hits and timely hits. Would you call a home run a timely hit?
Well, that was definitely a timely hit. I mean, Lawrence got a pitch that she could handle and did what all good hitters would do with a pitch like that, took it out of the yard. And so, yes, timely, but they haven't been able to string anything together. But they're going to try to make that one run stand up. Looking for some insurance here if they can get it.
Beard in the fall, headed to Indian Hills Community College. She's their career leader in hits and RBIs. She was 2 for 3 against Creston and 2 for 3 against Mount Vernon, and today she's 0 for 2. But if she can get on in a walk situation, that's just as good of a hit when you've only had 4 all game.
Well, we said it earlier in the ball game too. Things like walks are something that can be bothersome to the team that is out playing defense. Those are sometimes those runners that you give them that opportunity, they will come around to score.
And that is the 3rd walk issued by Driscoll. She walked the first batter of the game. I missed that one. She walked Martin, and now she walks Beard, and Beard is out for a moment on the courtesy run.
It's like Allison Major.
Major is a junior. She looks in. Her run would give a little bit of cushion. Lawrence.
She was looking for home run number 2 with that swing. That was a rip. Man.
You going changeup here? I thought they were maybe going changeup on the first pitch. That one's hit weakly, not in time to get two. They'll only get one, but it's thrown away. And there on the backup is Campbell doing what the catcher needs to do, hustle down the line. So Lawrence will stay at first on the fielder's choice. Walters flipped it to Gagushis, and then she threw it wide.
It was a little too slow developing to be able to turn that double play, but they at least got the lead runner.
And a courtesy runner for the pitcher is Lexi Jones. I got to admit, when we don't have a Carlisle or a Winterset game, Laura, you get a little spoiled on courtesy runners and pinch runners and ghost runners and all sorts of things that happen.
Ghost run. Haven't heard of ghost runners for a long, long time. We used to play with the ghost runners.
Oh, my kids still do. No ghosties.
They're a vital part of every team.
They are. The unsung heroes of the team. That pitch is high. Throw back to first to go after Jones is late. So Lauren Bayer, she had a single in the second. One of the 4 Dees hits. Driscoll winds and fires. Swung on and missed. And out on strikes for number 8 is Bayer.
Bayer strikes out for number 2. Bring up center fielder Danica Workman.
So Workman comes in, sacrifice in the second, strikeout in the 4th. Bats here in the 6th with the runner at first. Popped up into the net. Due up for Williamsburg in their half of the 7th. Jill Holub, Ella Ridgway, and Peyton Driscoll. That's their 4, 5, and 6. So it's not going to be easy for Albia to get out unscathed. They're going to have to earn it. Both teams. You got to earn a state championship. Good off-speed offering from Driscoll to get strike number 2.
Boy, that off-speed, and you could see her right before that pitch taking a look at the armband with all the signals and the calls on it. So it was certainly the right call from the dugout as far as throwing that off-speed pitch.
The 0-2 again off-speed, held by Campbell. Strikeout number 9 for Driscoll. She'd love to have an opportunity to get more. That is if Williamsburg can somehow scratch together a couple of hits as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Well, Laura, we've got 3 of these today. If they're all like this, might be a fun day.
You know, you knew coming into this ball game or into this day that we were going to have 3 really good matchups, that the pitchers at all 3 levels were going to be very good, so runs are going to be at a premium. That's exactly what we're seeing here today. And with that last strikeout, Driscoll now has 25 strikeouts for the tournament. And so she's doing her job. One little mistake, and like you say, a moment in time, and that's exactly what happened. They gave up that run, and that's where we stand, the 1-0 lead.
All on Jenna Lawrence's swing that came back in the 4th inning. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Jill Holla will lead things off for the Raiders. Lady D fans making some noise. First pitch is ripped into right or left center. Boy, I thought Bayer was going to grab that one. That was a rocket by Holla.
That was a rope, and the ball had so much spin on it that it moved away from Bayer, and it went right past her glove. She got a glove on it. It ticked her glove. Might have gotten her fingers. You can see her shaking the hand out there because that ball was moving. She thought she had the glove in the perfect position, but it spun away from her into left field.
I was going to say, I'll roll one to you so you can at least throw it. Can you squeeze it? Squeeze my hand.
Jenna! Jenna!
Right there? Yeah.
Can you move it?
No, it's just like, I can't.
Here, hold it low. Jenna!
as Bear is going to try throwing it to first again. I don't think that hand feels real good right now, Laura.
No, you could see it shaking, and
Okay, here we go.
and you could see we had a really good vantage point of it off the bat as that ball curved away from initially where she had the glove. Both hands up to pull that line drive in, but it got a good part of her bare hand.
Known for her fielding and quick release, that could be something in the back of her mind. The runner at first is Hala, Bella Ridgway. First pitch is a strike. Ridgway walked in the 5th. That ball gets away from Beard, and scooting down to second is Hala on the pass ball.
I'm surprised that they're not asking if she offered at that pitch.
And they do ask if she went, and Jeff Osborne says no. The 1-1 on the way to Ridgway. Bunted into the net behind home for a foul ball.
With nobody out, you want to try to advance that runner, and Ridgway is a hitter that probably does not sacrifice a lot. She's in that cleanup spot. She's the one that's driving in the run, so probably not a lot of experience laying it down, but gets down a great bunt there.
And it's going to move the runner up to third, and she's out. Oh man, I thought Ross's foot came off, and then he came back down right at the moment Ridgway on 2 strikes lays the bunt down. Lawrence, the laser, oh, she touched it. It wasn't her foot, it was her hand.
Touched her with her hand. What a smart play. Knew she was not going to be able to get that foot back on the base in time, and reaches across with her hand.
Popped up to the pitcher. She's popped up to second, okay? The next girl, ground ball to second, you struck her out, okay? We're gonna leave that runner at third right there, all right? We're gonna go get it, get these outs, okay? 2 more outs. We got 2 outs, and we're state champions.
If it's to me and Mckenna, she's going right away. Do you want us to make the throw to Alex?
You're Mckenna, what do you mean in terms of?
If it's to the right side, she's breaking for home.
Yeah, we can, well.
Let's get her out. Why wouldn't you want to try to get the...
Yeah, get the lead runner. Get the runner if you can. If it's hit hard. Okay, if it's hit hard, we got to get that runner, okay? But play back normal, okay? Let's go.
First, here we go.
D's on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Darren Hill mic'd up. Our coaches are mic'd up, as they are through all of our games, as is the home plate umpire. So that's why you can hear those great discussions. Darren will be the head coach next year. He'll be the sole head coach. He's the fairly quiet one until they need a loud voice. He was pretty calm right there. First pitch to Peyton Driscoll, and you heard he had the scouting report on Driscoll. Popped up to pitcher and to second. 0 for 2. Anytime Coach Birdie can get production out of Driscoll with her bat is a good thing. He calls it gravy. She lays down the squeeze, but running down was Hala from third. The squeeze was on, Laura.
You kind of were thinking that they might try to squeeze this run in. They've got a couple of shots at trying to get this runner in from third. They have the infield drawn in just a little bit, not a lot.
The 0-2 pulls the bat back. They almost have her if Beard wanted to, but also Beard didn't want to throw it in the left field.
And that is certainly a senior move right there, understanding the whole situation, hanging onto that ball, not letting it fly.
The 1-2, high. There's a little bit of DNA here for Peyton. Her mom, Jody, played for Williamsburg on the '95 state tournament team, so the family's been here before. The 2-2, strike 3. And there's 2 outs for Albia, and out away from a state championship.
This is in a spot that is very tough, and you can see Driscoll crowding the plate, and that is in at the knees. There's no way that she could make that adjustment to be able to take a swipe at that ball.
There's a look at Jenna Lawrence and Alex Beard, that combo that have been together for so many wins. As Adam Birdie and Megan Lamperick are having a conversation down at third. He's in the bucket hat today, as are the whole coaching staff. They're hoping the bucket hat means come from behind. It's up to Megan Lamperick, the DP, the junior, to keep this thing going. The runner at third is Hollab. The pitch hit towards right. It's playable, catchable, and it's a state championship for Albia. The Lady Dees, for the first time in school history, can be called state champions. Megan Lamperick put a charge into it, Laura, but just enough. That's a softball that will go into the trophy case, along with the state championship trophy.
Well, Lamperick made it exciting right down to the end, and what a great job by Martin to maintain the concentration, not get too excited when that ball came to her, pulled it in, and the celebration began.
Here's your Class 3 all-tournament team. From Albia, Alex Beard. From Williamsburg, Charlie Gagujas. From Albia, Danica Workman. From Williamsburg, Aubry Walters. From Assumption, Maddie Loken. From Assumption, Anna Wohlers. From Mount Vernon, Nicole Sullivan. From Mount Vernon, Maya Bentley. From Albia, Lauren Bayer. From Williamsburg, Peyton Driscoll. And your Class 3A all-tournament team captain. From Albia, Jenna Lawrence.
If you didn't have Jenna Lawrence written in ink as the all-tournament captain, she certainly put it in there with that home run in the fourth, Laura.
Well, here's her line. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, 93 total pitches, efficient in the circle, 1 for 3 at the plate with the solo home run, and they made it stand up.
Albia, 4 straight trips to state, and they go home with a state championship, and there's your look at your all-tournament team. See a couple of those Assumption nights. They were hoping to be here for at least a chance at the 4-peat, but from what we hear from Coach Farrell, we'll be back next year, don't you worry, and I think Williamsburg will be too.
I do too. I think that a lot of young talent in this class.
Receiving medallions, every participating player will receive a commemorative softball provided by Iowa Farm Bureau, title sponsor of the Girls Athletic Union. Presenting awards are members of the IGHSAU Board of Directors: Jim Beamer, Ron Fodness, Travis Fleschner, and Roger Francis. Congratulations to the runners-up in Class 3A, head coach Adam Birdie and the Williamsburg Raiders on an outstanding 2020 softball season. And your 2020 Class 3A State Softball Champions, head coaches Darren Hill and Jenny Dorpinghouse, and the Albia Lady Dees.
Albia was the Little League state champions in 7th grade. And these girls as seniors are Class 3A state champions.
And Coach Dorpinghouse said, what a better way to go out is with these seniors. She's going to retire. Seniors are going to graduate. They're able to walk out of here with a state tournament trophy and a title and a lot of memories.
Hey, how'd you win the state title? Well, we won it on a 1-0 game on a beautiful day with 1 home run. But guess what? The champion stays with us and it goes to the school. This is game number 1 of 3. Williamsburg and Albia in an instant classic. The Lady Dees, for the first time in school history, are state champs. We're just getting started. Class 2A is coming your way next for all of us here at Iowa PBS. So long for just a while. Funding provided by Fairway Meat and Grocery is a proud sponsor of the Iowa Girls State Softball Championships. Fairway believes in supporting the places Iowans learn, work, live, and play. Congratulations to all the schools and student athletes in this year's games. By Musco Lighting, the sports lighting specialists, providing lighting systems for you, your project, and your community.